within the service desk module itself, we can see these key elements available, right? Tickets by issue type, assignee, etc. Right? I can view all tickets that I've been assigned. I can view all tickets that are within the system. The assets that are populated within Pulseway will come in either as an import from Pulseway, right? Or we can set them up. Right? What I like to say is that IP-based assets will be coming from Pulseway, but we're not limited to that. So this solution will allow you to set up any type of asset category, right, and any asset therein. So if you support, UPSs or monitors, you want to track that level of detail, by all means do so, right? And we can track the acquisition date, the expiration date, warranty dates, purchase costs, etc., all natively to the solution. We're also able to track the software assets, right? So we can define and we can track when you purchased it, how much it cost, right? We can report on all of that. So when we are working with ticketing within the Pulseway PSA, there are 4 distinct ways that I can get tickets into the system. One of them is through the new ticket button as a technician, right? The other is through a client portal where a client can come in and they'll have a very streamlined interface and they'll be able to enter in a ticket through there. The third is from the Pulseway RMM directly. And then the last is going to be from the email integration that we have with the Pulseway PSA. And regardless of how the ticket is created, we are going to be able to apply workflows, which is our business logic, to these tickets, right? And so, as an example, I can select from a template that is presented, and this can be presented and be client-facing, right? That the monitor went blank, or we had a printer malfunction. This gives me the opportunity to be able to ask the questions of the customer, right? Make sure we get those answers. It defines for us all these different elements, as little or as much as we want when we use a template. And we can have different ticket types, so we can follow the ITIL methodology if we want. So incident, problem, change, service request, etc. Right? We can define SLAs. Right? For a customer, we'll pick up that default service contract as an example, right? Or we can select from a myriad of contracts that may be available for that customer. Right? We can add in the affected hardware. With the affected asset, we can actually tie that to the end user. So when we have a specific contact, right, we will be able to select their asset and add that. Additional functions that we have for ticketing is we have an image manager. So we can take a screen capture, and we can apply that in here. We can drag and drop onto the interface, right, and we'll add in attachments that way. So we go ahead and we create this new ticket, and then we're able to work the ticket as a technician. Right? And data entry is going to be very simple. Again, we want to give you lots of ways to do that. We're running a timer automatically. This is an optional thing. Half the people I talk to love this idea, the other half do not. Right? So you can turn this on or off. But this allows you to run a timer. I can reset the timer. I can pause the timer. Right? So as I'm working the ticket, I don't have to consider that. I can view the SLAs, and I can see the time remaining to respond and to resolve, right? We can view information about this customer. We can actually look them up on a map, so I can see that information made available, right? When we act on a ticket, we are actually able to look at the audit and understand, how did this ticket get to where it was? And what we're able to see specifically are all the different workflows that have affected this ticket. So let's go take a look at the workflows and understand what this is doing for us. Right? So workflows are the logic built into the system. Right? It allows us to define the actions that we're taking on a ticket based on rules. And that's triggers in conjunction with conditions. So a trigger is If it's been created, updated, if there's been activity, if it's been idle, due, overdue, or in breach of SLA, right, then we do something. In this example, what I created was a workflow to assign a higher level SLA for hardware issues. And this is one specifically coming from the Pulseway RMM solution. So I'm looking in the details from this automatically generated ticket for the terms CPU and MB. And that tells me that this is a problem with the CPU, right? We've got a high utilization as an example. And then I'm going to update that ticket by giving it a specific standard. I would actually probably give it a premium standard in this instance, right? But I'm able to define a hardware type, processor type, sub-issue, right? Same exact thing will happen if this were to come in any of the 4 ways that I talked about. So this could come in from email, and it could say computer is slow, and I could be looking in the details or in the title, which is the subject line of the email, to say, look for words as computer and slow. And based on that, I can do the exact same thing. So we are able to help categorize, classify, prioritize, and route tickets accordingly based on the data that we capture, right, regardless of how it comes into us. And then what I think is the most powerful part of this is the notification component. When an SLA is triggered, when a workflow is triggered, then we are able to automatically email the assigned queues, assigned resources, maybe even the account-related resources. So why would we do that, right? The account-related resources, what does that do for me? Well, think about this. You have a critical issue that comes up with a customer. I want to notify the account manager. Why? Because I don't want him calling and talking about this brand new shiny service that we offer when we have a network down, right, at their site. Those phone calls have never been well received in my experience. So we want to give them notification and let them know that there's a critical issue going on. And again, workflows allow us to define specifically when we have that communication take place, but it will be done automatically, right? We can notify the client. I have the ability to leverage email templates, and these email templates can be written in HTML. So the look, the feel that you want to give your company and your correspondence can be achieved through the Pulseway PSA. Right? So ticket gets created, ticket gets updated, we do all notifications accordingly, right? The technician works and completes the ticket, or feels that he has anyways. We can generate a notification out to the customer and ask them to let us know if their problem was resolved. And I can actually, within the communication and within the email template, I can have a defined character that allows me to read in this response and add their response to the notes of the ticket, right? So we're looking for special characters, and they can respond. So did we fix your issue? Yes, no. They respond, and we act accordingly. But we can read and document all of that within the ticket. So it's a very effective solution for communications within the Pulseway PSA.